Back in 1986, I was a young 12-year-old boy. Ah, the memories.
Glenn Hoddle, there's where the ball came from Hodge. Maradona had continued the run.
Okay, so it wasn't a particular good year for the England football team, but was it a good year for movies? Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Carl. Today's video is Back to the Movies 1986. I'm starting to continue these. I've had a little break from Back to the Movies. This is a series I started where I talk about my top 5 movies of each year. Beginning with the year 1980, going right the way through those years, right up to the present year. Also, what was the #1 toy for that particular year as well? If you popped over to the channel for the very first time, please consider subscribing if you can. Thank you so much. Okay, let's begin.
I feel the need for speed.
The year is 1986, and on the 28th of January, Space Shuttle Challenger explodes 73 seconds after takeoff, killing all 7 crew members on board, including what would have been the first ever school teacher in space. It's also the year that Hampton Court Palace got damaged badly by a fire, killing 1 person. I do remember that fire, and I didn't realise that someone sadly lost their life in that fire. And lastly, I've got to give this one a mention. Diego Maradona's Hand of God goal, which knocked England out of the World Cup 1986 in the quarterfinals. Whatever you think of Diego Maradona, you cannot fault his second goal in this particular match. He ran rings round pretty much all of the England defence. But what was the #1 toy for this particular year? Well, it's pretty much the same as the last 3 years. Transformers were going very strong. So were G.I. Joe figures. And one for the older kids, Scalextrics were also strong. And one for the girls, My Little Pony. Again, 1986 was a very good year for movies. We had Critters, Crocodile Dundee, Platoon. I do have 3 honourable mentions that I put in. These are movies that I wouldn't say are brilliant, but they do make my honourable mention purely on memory. So I've got to give these ones a mention. They aren't good enough to go in my top 5 list. The first one is Flight of the Navigator. Who remembers that one? A very popular one at school, starring Kim Basinger. 9.5 weeks. I'm not too sure why that one was very popular at school. And lastly, a horror movie that I have fond memories of, which I cannot pick up anywhere, and that is Slaughter High. Okay, those are my honourable mentions. Let's move on to my top 5 list. Please do remember, this isn't the right list. This is just a little bit of fun, just my personal opinion. Starting off at number 5. The Karate Kid Part 2. What I like so much about this movie, the story continues where the first movie finished. When you watch that first movie, it finishes pretty well. And it's not until you watch Part 2 that you find the story continues exactly where that first one finished. And I really did like that. Then it kind of drifts off in its own different direction. The story follows Mr. Miyagi and Daniel LaRusso, who travels to Mr. Miyagi's home country because Mr. Miyagi's father is dying. It's not long before Mr. Miyagi finds that he still has feelings for an old love, which stirs up trouble with an old rivalry.
Miyagi taught him well.
Secret of Miyagi family karate.
I don't get it.
Practice, you will.
Can you break a log like that?
Don't know. Never been attacked by tree.
So that one comes in at number 5. Number 4. This movie was directed by James Cameron, Aliens, which stars Sigourney Weaver and the late great Bill Paxton.
There she is. Get your light up here.
Keep back, don't scare her.
Movement. Talk to me, Hudson.
I got signals, I got readings in front and behind.
There's nothing back here.
Look, I'm telling you, there's something moving and it ain't us.
Get them out of there!
Number 3, this movie comes in middle of the park for me because it is still a good family watch today, and I've gone with Short Circuit. The story is about number 5, which is a military experimental robot that undergoes a transformation after being struck by lightning. A very good watch. If you haven't seen that one, please do check that one out.
At Nova Robotics, the future is in good hands.
You're doing real good. Just keep working on those last 2 bars.
Thanks to Dr. Newton Crosby.
Originally, I designed it as a marital aid.
But artificial intelligence has gotten too smart.
It's malfunctioning. It might not do anything.
But it could decide to blow away anything that moves, couldn't it?
Because $11 million worth of robot just hit the road.
Wow!
Number 5 is alive.
Welcome to my planet!
Number 2, The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum and Gina Davis. The story is about a scientist called Dr. Seth Brundle, which invents a teleportation machine, and it works brilliantly. So he decides to test it on himself, not realising that a fly goes inside at the same time. That's where I'm going to leave the story with that one. It's a very good watch. It's still watchable today.
There is a limit, even to the imagination.
Human teleportation, molecular decimation, breakdown, and reformation is inherently purging.
Where our greatest creations meet our deepest fears.
Something went wrong, Seth. When you went through, something went wrong.
So number 2, The Fly. Number 1, you are not going to guess what I've put in top spot. Anybody that knows me will know what I have chosen because it is just so obvious. It is, of course, the biggest grossing movie in 1986, and I've gone with Top Gun. This is a story about the top Navy pilots competing to be the best of the best in an elite fighter school in America, called, you've got it, Top Gun. It had such a brilliant cast. Obviously we had Tom Cruise, Kelly McGillis, we also had Tom Skerritt, Val Kilmer, and of course we also had Michael Ironside.
You're everyone's problem. That's because every time you go up in the air, you're unsafe. I don't like you because you're dangerous.
That's right.
I am dangerous.
And you think I'm reckless? When I fly, I'll have you know that my crew and my plane come first.
Well, I'm going to finish my sentence, Lieutenant.
The MiG has you in his gun sight. What were you thinking?
You don't have time to think up there. If you think, you're dead.
I'm hit!
You made a bad choice.
That is my top 5 movies for the year 1986. Please do get involved in those comments. I would love to know for this video, what are your own top 3 movies for the year 1986? Thank you so much for taking the time to watch Back to the Movies 1986. If you like this video, please do give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe if you can, because it really does help the channel out. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.